what up, Internet? I'm here with Chip from Dual Analog.
What up? It's me, Chip from Dual Analog. Hi, boys and girls. It's me.
All right, so you recently released a new album, The Wheel.
We did, yes, just last month, October 12th. So it's been out for about 6 weeks now.
Okay, so one of the questions I had is, does that date have a specific significance, or was it just convenient?
Well, we wanted to put it up for the end of the year. We didn't want to put it out on Halloween because everybody tries to do that, especially in our scene. And you put it out on a major holiday, it's not going to get listened to. So October 12th was just what made the most sense from a practicality standpoint. We could have done it a week earlier and taken advantage of Bandcamp Friday, which we didn't. But we still gave it to our Bandcamp followers a week before, so they could kind of like be like, "Oh wow, look at me, I'm special." So no real particular like symbolic significance to that date. Just wanted to get it out before the end of the year.
Okay, so obviously there's a nice little write up on your Bandcamp, but all my viewers didn't read that. So tell me the whole story behind The Wheel.
So from sort of like a standpoint of like behind the curtain a little bit, after our first record, Lust, Worship, Desire, all of 6 weeks later, we had like 2 big, huge lineup changes, or I guess technically 3. Our guitar player at the time decided to move on to other projects, just sort of like, yeah, he'd done what he wanted to, and he's kind of like, yeah, I'm ready for something new. And then one of our backup singers moved to LA, which he had been planning for a while. And then the other backup singer, things weren't really working out. So there was a major shakeup in the Dual Analog camp. And so we were kind of left with, we're like, I'm like a man without a country. So we didn't have a band, and we couldn't really very well book out without any band. And so we, pulled ourselves out of that a little bit and got a great lineup, together. But, it was a big shakeup, and it was time for us to be like, okay, cool. We got a lineup together. Let's go out and let's do it. And just the amount of challenges we faced with just trying to get work and just to get bookings was, personally, we felt that with the work that we had done in terms of promoting and having a strong brand and a strong identity, and also having something to show for it in terms of like, here's our record, this is our sound, and the amount of challenges that we had with actually trying to get some work, we didn't feel like that was really lining up. And so you listen to the record and you can really sort of hear a lot of struggles and questioning why, what did we do this time that like we can't, this isn't easier for us, what's the issue? And there's kind of a lot of musical gatekeeping that happens in any city, but this city particularly is especially challenging.
And remind me where you're out of.
We're out of Seattle.
Okay, gotcha.
So these great acts would come through and our phones wouldn't ring to open up for them, and other bands would kind of crop up kind of out of nowhere, and they're already getting, picked for festivals. And it was just really frustrating. And so The Wheel is kind of a reflection of, building something up and, working on it, and then doesn't pan out or just comes crashing down. And you're just left holding the bag and saying, okay, what did I do this time? What do I need to do next time? Why does this cycle keep repeating itself? And in the end, it's a hopeful message, and that it doesn't exactly matter, because the music in the end is what's important, which is sort of conceptually, as you get to the end of the record on the title track, The Wheel, that's sort of where we're left. We're saying like, yeah, well, our position may not have changed substantially, but what's really important is that we still have ourselves, we still have our voice, and we still have our music. And so as long as we have that, that's really what the most important part of it is. So it's kind of had to go through a lot of mental and emotional work, and it certainly took a lot of energy to pull all of it out of me, like in terms of like writing the lyrics and performing it. And that's the only way I really know how to process. You call it trauma. I won't call it trauma because that's a little extreme, but that's the only way I really know how to process these really intense emotions, is to just turn it into something creative, into something positive. And so after putting out the record, there was this like or even just after cutting the last of the vocals, there was like this 3-4 week period where I was just kind of like, okay, well, I don't feel anything because I got it all out. It's really weird. It's kind of nice though. So I need to go and get me some new trauma for some surgery soon, I guess.
So there was this whole like Buddhist element to the wheel of the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's essentially it's the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. So essentially, it's this wheel. It looks kind of like a ship's wheel, and the goal in your lives or cosmically is you have to move and progress closer and closer to the center of the wheel, which is enlightenment, and then you're done. You turn into plasma, or you just turn into light, or whatever you want to believe. So the wheel and sort of the Dharma chakra aspect of it is that repetition of forming, in a more literal sense, forming a band, trying to get it up and off the ground, and trying to get it, further than where you got your last band, or trying to get this new record further than you got the last one, and just, trying to continue to move closer and closer to the center, which I guess in this case would be your success as an artist. And then in the case of this record, it's more like staying in one spot and just going back and forth. So that's where that Buddhist wheel sort of comes into play.
And so how does cover art come to be? Like, who did that image, or what exactly is it trying to convey here?
So funny thing about that cover art was that I had originally had this plan. If you're familiar with the album cover for Slaughter, Stick It To You, they got the chick against the the carnival knife thrower. I wanted something like that, only strapped to like a giant wheel. Didn't really have the budget to make a giant wheel, and the timing and everything didn't really work out that way. So we just happened to be shooting a photo shoot here at my house. So that's the screen. That's the screen right behind me. A photographer, Kurt Clark, who does a lot of our live photography, and Lindsay Ferrari, who sang backup in the band. She was up in town, and just for fun, we were doing some photo stuff together. And so I told Kurt, I'm like, hey, can we just do like the cover art while you're here? Just take a picture of my back. And you're like, yeah, why not? I'm here. So we took some UV makeup and just kind of like made some little scratches on my back. And then threw up some black light and just did it like that, flexed the lats, and that was how the record came to be. So in terms of what it symbolizes with the record is just that somewhat self-inflicted torture, and like feeling like you screwed up and you don't know what you did to screw up, so you're just punishing yourself. So it's kind of a metaphorical punishment, which is where sort of those scratches or they're supposed to be like whip marks,
right?
That's where that comes in. And we also wanted to tap into kind of the S&M scene, which runs adjacent to the goth scene. It just it makes sense, which is what we did with our for our song Reborn. So just kind of bringing a little bit of that through line from that video back into our actual cover artwork. And it's just, it's simple, it's effective, it's dark. There's a tiny bit of color in it. And we felt like that sort of really stark black and white was kind of the direction we wanted to go, since the album itself is a lot darker. It's a lot more bleak than the last one, which was, more colorful and a little bit more optimistic.
So obviously it's been out for a little bit over a month. How's the feedback been? People like it so far, it seems like?
Feedback's been great. We have kind of figured out how to work the algorithm a little bit. And yeah, we've been seeing a lot of success, particularly with Painted Faces and Reborn seem to be the two really popular ones right now. Caverns, for the life of me, I couldn't get to hit, but whatever. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of good feedback. People are happy with the mix. They're happy with the songs. The sort of our gothier fan base is happy with the direction that we've gone with this. We're kind of had goth elements in our music. It's sort of like darker, but turbo wave, our genre, is such a broad genre that, sort of in the spectrum of turbo wave, you kind of have the center, which is more like the first record, Lust, Worship, Desire. And then as you get more over to this side, it gets darker, more like The Wheel. Then our next record, Primal Grill, will get a little bit poppier. So we're
you're already working on your next record?
Oh yeah, we're we have to remember that we're still promoting our second record, so we can't like just say, yeah, anyways, our next record.
Yeah.
Like we still got to work on, telling people about this one, but yeah, we're already working on the next one. We're really excited about it. We don't have a date that it's going to be out.
Yeah.
We're just focusing on just writing really good songs and releasing them with that 6 to 8 week frequency. And then when we're at a spot where we're like, yeah, okay, we have enough songs to where we can put out an album, then we're going to do that. But yeah,
Okay,
good
cool.
feedback on the record so far. They love the direction.
I definitely liked it too. I especially liked Forward March. I really like the heavy chuggy guitar riffs that were thrown
Cool.
in there.
That is probably
neat.
one of the most challenging songs to play and perform.
Oh, I bet.
There are so many different time signature changes, and
Yes.
when we presented it to the band, it's like Sarah, our live drummer, the first song that she learned of ours, or one of the first, was Long Divide, which we put out earlier this year, which is also sort of like it's an odd meter, it's 7/8, and there's a lot of different time signature changes. This one, Forward March, though, I think is actually a little bit more challenging because of all the time changes. But that was a Curtis song, and it took a lot of doing, but we figured it out in the end.
What was this like? Was there a particular story behind the song "That Great Cold Hell"? I thought that one was just a little bit less straightforward than some of the other ones. I felt like.
Are you talking about in terms of the composition or the lyrics?
Yeah, I meant like what it's about, the story behind it.
So that one is kind of about the lineup changes that we incurred prior to this one, as well as sort of drawing the sort of the cycle of birth and rebirth, also drawing a parallel to the Buddhist concept of hell, which is Buddhism is a very complicated sort of religion, but in certain sects of it, they do believe in what's considered a Buddhist hell, which is there's great cold hells and there's great hot hells, and there's Naraka and Sanjiva, and the punishments endured are all very elaborate. Things like picking up individual grains of rice and then having it emptied out or stuff like that, or just like, it's all very specific. It's like you'll be stabbed 1,000 times in this part of your body by this person. And so we're like, okay, well, this is obviously one of the heaviest songs on the record, so it's got to have like a really heavy, like, yeah, let's talk about hell and getting tortured. So that's where that came from. It was put together by a song. We put it together. We had a song a long time ago that we called "Remember the Feeling," that had kind of the same verse riff, and then bits and pieces of songs that Curtis had together, and we kind of combined it. And then there's that whole weird, complicated bridge section with the unison. So it's a big one. There's a lot going on in that one. We haven't tried to play that one live yet. We're maybe next year, but it would take a little bit of time to get that one tight as a group.
Yeah. So are you changing gears slightly? Are you already booking shows to 2025?
Yep, trying to. We have our first show back here in Seattle late February. We're playing with a band called Jupe Jupe and a new up-and-comer called Mutual Shock. So we're pretty excited about that. This is going to be kind of equal parts The Wheel, Lust, Worship, Desire, and our the new record we're working on, Primal Grill. So we're going to put out some brand new material nobody's ever heard. We're going to play that live. Going to play stuff from the first record. We're going to play stuff from the second record. So we're looking forward to that. And we're trying to get some more, I call them higher profile kind of gigs. So more festivals, more corporate events. We have a team that we've been working with here in Seattle that have been helping us to kind of meet people outside of just the music sphere, but people who appreciate the arts and who appreciate music. But, it might not be a formal, like you're playing a show. It might be like you're at a fashion show and there's a band playing, or this is a gala and there's a band playing. Stuff sort of geared a little bit more in that direction to try and broaden our demographic, because when you think about it, Seattle is kind of a small town. Because there's about 40-50 goths and we all know each other. So to grow in your own community can actually be a little bit more challenging than you think, because after a while you just kind of like exhaust the market because everybody already knows you. They've already seen you. So to get a little bit of a different demographic in there would be good for us. And we're also trying to focus more on out-of-town dates as well. We finally got back down to Portland just last weekend or weekend before last, which we love playing Portland, and they love live music there. So we want to get back down there, maybe go out to Boise, maybe do something in LA too.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. We have some people down in LA that we can kind of put together like an all-star band with. So
oh, nice. That'd be good.
That might have to be something that we put together here next year.
Is there anything else we didn't really talk about the wheel that you wanted to touch on?
I think we covered everything.
Okay.
We're pretty happy with how it turned out. It's the record that we needed to make to kind of get everything out of our system. So we're in a more positive headspace right now, I would say. I don't know. It's we're just in a spot where we're excited to just be writing new music and seeing what's going on with and seeing what we can do in the future. We're looking forward to adding some color back into our wardrobe because we had a very sort of specific, like we're going to have a very dark, very gothic look for this record. So for the next record, we're going to add some more color and some more elaborate outfits.
Ow, your claws are sharp. And internet, meet cat butt. All right, good timing on this one. Random question by Ask Everybody. If you're an animal, what kind would you be and why?
Are you asking me? Or you're asking your audience? Oh, well, obviously I'd be a cat because then I could just eat and sleep all day and have people prepare my meals. And when I wake them up because it's breakfast time, they don't get pissy. They're like, oh, well, then he's just a cat. That's his thing. I scratch up your furniture, and rather than say don't do that, you just get cat tape or whatever. My girlfriend has a cat, and I love cats. I didn't have pets for most of my adult life up until when I started seeing somebody who did. Yeah. And I loved not having pets. Even though I love cats, it was great. My place was always clean. I didn't have to get up and let out an animal. I didn't have to wake up to make sure they're fed. I just took care of myself. Now, you have a cat, and the cat is like a member of the family. You got to take care of it. So that's kind of a pain, but they have personality too. So
absolutely,
it's not all bad.
No, it's not. I got 3 of them running around, so it can't be too bad. But
we just have one. He's part Maine Coon, so he's quite large, and he's orange, so he has the orange cat. So he has the intelligence of a Maine Coon, but he also has just the craziness of an orange cat. So
oh my goodness,
it's a pretty dangerous combination, but yeah,
just a bit.
a cool cat.
And I've been feeling kind of festive, so I don't know if you celebrate any form of Christmas or anything, but if you could get any gift for holidays, what would you want to receive
this year? I just need cash.
I feel that.
I'm fortunate enough to be a homeowner now. But real estate taxes will really get you, and renovations and car insurance. It's like, all the adult stuff. The kids don't want to hear that, oh, I just want some cash so that I can pay my bills. That's not really sexy. So I would say if I were to ask Santa, I want this. I want some more lights. So like more stage lights, some moving heads.
Oh, there we go.
That's what we really want to do next year, because we figured out a very modest and very sort of small lighting scheme for our live show, and it looks pretty good. It looks better than nothing, but we want to level up. But that costs money, just like everything else. So just two moving head bars and then a hazer, and I think we're gonna be good. That's all we need.
There we go. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
That's all from me. Check us out on check out our Shopify. It's on our Spotify, and then you can just navigate to our to where we offer our merch. Our merch is pretty cool. We have regular shirts, which are pretty popular. They just have the logo on it. We have them in black and white. But we also have some cool stuff, like we got tank tops that we just rolled out. We have leggings that are really cool. I want a pair of leggings. I haven't ordered a pair of leggings yet. We also have hoodies that are really cool. So you should check out our store on our Spotify. Go to our Spotify. I just updated it today. You can go to the artist pick, and you'll see that there's a shirt there. You can click on the shirt, and that'll take you to our online store. The online store looks great too. It's just like it's very nice and posh and polished. It's very on brand. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And we have some cool merchandise that I want people to buy, because that's going to help us with a little bit of cash flow, but also because I want to see how they look on an actual person. And if you buy one, snap a picture of it, and maybe we can have you model it on our website.
Oh yeah.
That would be pretty cool. and then it
That
gets
would be cool.
people involved too, which is fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on, and I look forward to having you on again in the future.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.